كالعبيد كالعبيد لا نريد ذلنا المؤكدا وعيشنا المنكدا ذلنا المؤكدا وعيشنا Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! شيخ شيخ جراح! شيخ جراح! شيخ جراح! شيخ جراح!
I don't need everyone coming out.
Okay. So, part 2 of the Free Palestine rally down here at Waterfront. I had some connectivity issues. The internet dropped out, so I had to come back up now. Maybe we'll get a few more viewers because it's a new live. Maybe not, but we've got, I would say, 300 or more activists, protesters, whatever you want to call them, that are here at Waterfront in support of a free Palestine. I believe we are about to have the moment of silence. Just before in the video that you can go check out, the Right Heart video just before, they read off all the names of individuals that have passed in this most recent bout of warring in the area. And then well wishes to them as they pass on to the afterworld. But they read off a list of names, and now we're going to be doing a moment of silence.
That were killed in While we wait for our speaker, I just want to say that this struggle is not just a Palestinian
powerful,
struggle.
powerful.
It's a humanitarian crisis. It's so many different faces, people that I know, people that I've never met before, and people that are Palestinian and non-Palestinian, Arab and non-Arab, Muslim, and all other kinds of faiths. It just shows us that the struggle is unified. Again, this is not just a Palestinian struggle. It's so beautiful seeing people from the Black Lives Matter movement, seeing Jewish people here, everyone here unified. Hearing the list of names that were listed off today, it just kind of struck a chord because some of those names are, names that we share with those people. And there's kind of a guilt living here when I could have been one of the martyrs that were listed off. Honestly, any of us could have been one of those martyrs. So we kind of have our own duty living here to speak out against injustice. And I'm just going to have you guys think on that while the speaker walks over. Amma Mustafa. So we're going to do a quick dua in English. That means a quick prayer for the people in Palestine and for everyone suffering around the world.
السلام عليكم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. All praise are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We praise Him, we thank Him, we seek refuge by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the evil of our own self and from our own evil act. Whosoever is guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no one can misguide him. And whoever sent astray by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no one can guide him. I bear witness that there is no deity worthy to be worshipped but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I bear witness that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his final messenger. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect the people of Palestine. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bestow their mercy on those people who lost their beloved ones of the people of Palestine. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept them as martyrs. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect their wives, their kids, their property from the aggressors. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that will grant them Jannah, the highest level of paradise. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He will protect Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, in Jerusalem, which is the major mosque that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed that area and He made it sacred. Nobody can harm Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. Whether it's Jews or Muslims or anybody, if you decided to do something to Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa to destroy it, it's just not going to happen. Why? Because it's the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's the promise of God that that area is sacred. Nobody can harm it whatsoever. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect that mosque. It's one of His sacred house. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to protect the people who is defending that masjid. Walhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawm Ad-Din. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Thank you for those words. Okay, now we're gonna have some people from the Palestinian community give poems and just experiences that they've been through. And we're gonna start over here. Guys, give him a round of applause.
Free, free Palestine!
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 Save, shift the rock. Save, shift the rock.
Save, shift the rock!
بالروح بالدم يفديك يا أبطال.
بالروح بالدم يفديك يا أبطال!
بالروح بالدم يفديك يا أبطال.
بالروح بالدم يفديك يا أبطال!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
بالروح بالدم يفديك يا أبطال.
بالروح بالدم يفديك يا أبطال!
Free, free Palestine!
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 بالروح بالدم يفديك يفديك يا أقصى
بالروح بالدم نفديك يا أقصى
بالروح بالدم يفديك يا أقصى
بالروح بالدم نفديك يا أقصى
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Another round of applause.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, you have to be proud of yourself because you stand for justice. It's not just you. Any human being stand for justice should be proud of himself. What you see on the TV screens is genocide. No human being with a heart will accept that. It's that simple. And this message, I hope anyone, even the garbage man in my administration, can hear it. So maybe I'm hoping it can be delivered. I'm American Palestinian, born in the West Bank. I was 9 years old, running on the mountains without shoes, sleeping for 7 days in caves, because who was chasing me? The American-made airplanes funded by your taxpayers. So every one of you need to write for his representative and tell him just simple line. If Israelis have the right to defend themselves, well, let me tell you something. God gave that right for every human being who walks on this earth. Am I right? We need to stop talking that way. We are not dogs. We are humans. If the Israeli have the right to defend himself, the Palestinians have the right to defend himself. They support the Israelis. That means they support the Palestinians killers with cash, with airplanes, with guns, with weapons, with even blueprint technology. They created Israel. But in that time, most of the people there, they were naive, minding their own business. They don't have iPhone 12, so they can't communicate with nobody. After they've been massacred, the rest of the world, maybe after 6 months, they heard about it. So everything is cool. That's what they do in Sheikh Jarrah right now. That's how they did it in Deir Yassin. They went to the homes and they butchered the babies before the old people. And if nobody, you don't have to believe me. Call Mr. Google. Do your own search. Get educated. Nobody asked you to stand for Palestinians. Nobody asked you to support Palestinians with money or cash or guns. But we're asking you, don't stand next to our killers. The guy from Brooklyn, the guy from New York maybe, or Brooklyn, he's the one stealing that home with his Mr. Yaqub. He's the one who's stealing that home in Sheikh Jarrah. I call on my administration to revoke his American passport because he's a criminal. Here you go to Walmart, shoplift $5, you'll be in court. He's walking to somebody's home and just take over in the 20th century, and nobody can see that, even Mr. Biden. Well, listen, Mr. President. Mr. President, let me tell you something. I'm in this country since 1979. I'm American, and I'm proud to be American. But I am born over there. My families are there. My blood is there. Still we're saying, one president is gone, the other one will come. He is more justified. He have a heart. Where is your heart? You talked through the election. It wasn't the same as now. When you stand in front of the TV camera and you said, Israel has the right to defend themselves. I'm not disputing that. Yes, they do.
Talk to the camera.
But you should finish the sentence. Israel has the right to defend themselves. Palestinians have the right to defend themselves. It's not hard. That's if you are looking for justice, if you're not biased. If you want to do a peace treaty there, you cannot be taking one side. You can't. You can just go to the court and I'm fighting against the judge nephew. He cannot be on that damn bench. That's called conflict of interest. If you love them that much, then don't talk about them and don't be mediator. It's somebody else. The whole world sees that crime except America. The whole world want to do that crime. They want to stop that every year. America veto that. What's supposed to mean that? What's that supposed to mean? Why we have United Nations? Then these people have to do their job. What are they doing? They're defending themselves. But when they do, you call them terrorists. How is that? Why? They are resistance. People under occupation. Chapter 21 in United Nations Charter, it tells you if you are under occupation, you have the right to defend yourself, you have the right to resist, and to use every means you can. You did not give him a tank, you did not give him an airplane, you didn't give him any guns to defend themselves, just to give their part, the other side. And that is so. Anybody have water?
Akbar! Akbar! Akbar!
Yes, I will. I'm sorry, my mouth got dry because so much bombing in the air. So much bombing in the air. It makes any human being with a heart lose his mouth. So we go back. I'm trying to wrap it up because if I want to talk about this issue, the whole day is not enough. The whole day is not enough. But I lived that term. I lived it.
Survive.
When we see a goat on the mountain, we chase it to milk it out because we are 7 days in the caves. This administration didn't see that. What they do? Every year, how many billions of dollars they give that killers? They give him the weapon, they give him everything. You want peace for two countries. Why are they building on the other side? Why are they building in the West Bank? Tell me. Jerusalem, it's already parted, east and west. What damn business they have in that Arab side? They're not supposed to be there. Simple as that. So, I hope somebody can deliver this to. You need to write to your representative. Tell them Palestinians too have the right to defend themselves. Thank you very much.
Next, we're going to have a poem performed by Sabrina. Give her a round of applause.
Salam alaikum. I sit up with the go.
Hello. Here's a poem. My son places his paint box in front of me and asks me to draw a bird for him. Into the color gray, I dip the brush and draw a square with locks and bars. Astonishment fills his eyes. But this is a prison, Father. Don't you know how to draw a bird? And I tell him, son, forgive me. I've forgotten the shape of birds. My son puts the drawing book in front of me and asks me to draw a wheat stalk. I hold the pen and draw a gun. My son mocks my ignorance, demanding, don't you know, Father, the difference between a wheat stalk and a gun? I tell him, son, once I used to know the shapes of wheat stalks, the shapes of the loaf, the shape of the rose, but in this hardened time, the trees of the forest have joined the militiamen, and the rose wears dull fatigues in this time of armed wheat stalks, armed birds, armed culture, and armed religion. You cannot buy a loaf without finding a gun inside. You cannot pick a rose in the field without its raising its thorns in your face. You can't buy a book that doesn't explode in your fingers. My son sits at the edge of my bed, and he asks me to recite a poem. A tear falls from my eyes and onto the pillow. My son lifts it up astonished, saying, but Father, this is a tear, not a poem. And I tell him, when you grow up, my son, and read the divan of Arabic poetry, you will discover that the word and the tear are twins, and the Arabic poem is no more than a tear wept by writing fingers. My son lays down his pens, his crayon box in front of me, and he asks me to draw a homeland for him. The brush trembles in my hands, and I sink, weeping. So this is a poem by Nizar Kabani, a Syrian poet. Yeah, he's pretty amazing. And it articulates the pain of remembering your identity, a pain the Palestinians know well and a pain I know well. My father is born in Nablus, Palestine. He and the rest of my family were removed from their home in Nablus during the Six-Day War. Prior to this, my family had lived in Haifa for hundreds of years before being forced out after Nakba, the day of catastrophe that ripped over 750,000 Palestinians from their homes to make way for Israeli settlers. Settlers that would live inside the homes our families had built themselves and lived in for generations. My father kept most of his past from me, much of it, his culture and his traditions for so long, and I had so much anger from this and so much confusion. I was so mad. He died when I was 16, and I could still not understand why he had stripped me of my connections to my family and heritage until I got older and I learned what being Palestinian meant. While he lost his life to lung cancer, he lost his livelihood at the hands of Israel long before, when he was a child. I quickly understood why my father would seldom tell me stories of his childhood, why he'd shut them down when I asked, why the Palestinian identity is pain. To remember our history is pain. The stories from our parents and our grandparents and our people is only full of pain. Beauty too, but only in spite of the pain and trauma of a people forced to leave their homeland. This trauma has bled into all generations of Palestinians. And there is a privilege in staying silent, in staying neutral, a privilege that Palestinians do not have. We cannot dissect the memories from the pain, and we cannot stay silent when our cousins and our uncles and our brothers are the casualties and the numbers the Western news reports of. When our own parents and grandparents are the ones whose homes are raided. But the West cannot call out Israel, for if they do, they must also call out and confront their own settler colonialism, their own genocides of indigenous peoples. So as much as Israel may try to use our pain to erase our identity, we cannot let them do so. It is our responsibility to bring attention to the crimes of Israel, to fight for the right of our return, to fight for the generations before us who could not even be buried in their homeland. What Israel does not understand is that as long as there is a Palestinian people, there is a Palestine. As long as there is an occupation, there is resistance. And they can take our land and they can fire their missiles, but they can never take our name. Thank you for that poem. Next we're going to have,
gentleman that was just speaking, we got an opportunity to do a little interview with, so we're gonna go speak with him real quick.
English means homeland.
Just a moment. Once he gets ready. Hey Dave, if you want to get rid of Mark Aaron, feel free.
Where do you want to stand?
Yeah, right here.
How far?
Backdrop.
Good, good. You want to check? You're not recording, right?
We're already live. I've been live this whole time.
You already live?
Yep.
So all this came out?
We are ready.
What do you want to talk? You want to talk to me or what?
Yeah, just give me your name and general information as to exactly why everyone is gathered. Because there's a lot of people watching that might not know, you know?
You want to stand with me or what?
No, you can go. You can just stand right in front and you know, like I said, just.
Hi. My name is Z. And if somebody wonder why this gathering all about, you've seen that flag over there. Well, we can make the story very short. This gathering for what's going on, and I'm sure most of the people either they tune to TV when they see that crime, or they run through it because they don't have the gut to look at it.
Right.
So, this is for the goals what's happening in Palestine. From killing indiscriminately, because when you bomb somebody from a tank, you don't know where that bomb goes. And when you bomb somebody in a 12-storage building, you don't know how many people in there. They do that, they don't care. Why they do that, they don't care on cameras. Associated Press Center in Gaza, it was given 10 minutes with Al Jazeera News to evacuate their 12-floor buildings, which has got more than 60 apartments, and all the media in the Gaza Strip, they got 10 minutes to leave. Why? Because they want to take down that building. Within 10 minutes, go tune to the TV, you'll find the sad thing about a beautiful building. It's being destroyed. Why they can't do that? Because they are above the law. Not the city law, they are above international law. Oh, well, let me ask you this. How they come to that understanding? We as United States, we gave them that balls. Because whatever they do, since the Great Britain is gone, we took the place, we start babying those people. Whatever they do, it's okay with us. The whole earth comes together. They saying, this is wrong, need to stop. What we do, just like kids playing, you know? They meeting and voting, and we say veto. That means piss on you, everyone, in the meeting. That means it's not gonna go through, go, bye-bye. That's why nobody can stop this since many years, because we have the veto power. It's not every country have that veto power. It's only, I think, 4 countries have that veto power.
Sure.
Excuse me. So, the roots of the problem in all the Middle East is very simple. Free Palestine. That's the only occupation exists on the face of the earth right now. Everybody condemned. except America. Everybody want to put an end except America. When I say America, I don't mean the public. I mean the people who runs America like they run their own store. They give the cash without they asking. They don't ask you how many billions we need to give Israel every year and this year or not. They don't ask you when they give me free airplanes. They don't ask you when they give me free weapons. They don't ask you nothing. They just give a blank check. Yep. That's why Mr. Netanyahu, nobody can talk to him because he have the Americans behind him. As those handful of people, they run the American government. Yeah. Those people, we always focus on the president of the United States. Well, he's a poor guy, you know, he's just there for 4 years. And if he's good enough, he might last another 4 years. Right. He's not the problem. The problem with the one like Mr. Mitch McConnell. Yep. Mitch McConnell, how many years he's still serving?
It's like 36 or something like that.
How many billions of dollars Mitch McConnell signed for these people? That means this bill is on our neck. We paying for the weapon. We paying for the killers. Here, when somebody go around shooting in a school, everybody start going after the guns. Wait, we need to stop the gun. Why don't we go after the guns in that countries when you see a family of 10 people yesterday were sacrificed? Why nobody got mad? Why nobody says, well, who armed these people? Who armed this crazy nonsense people? Nobody say that. The time we say that, and the time we understand, everything will be cool. In that country, before America was created, people living there, Jews, Christians, Muslims, they are neighbors, they are friends, they are partners in business. They have no hard feeling whatsoever. Who created that? England created that. Then after that, who created that? We created that. America created that. That means the West behind that. Because they want to keep stir that region for the oil, forever, whatever their business they have to do under the table. Right. Even Netanyahu, he's being charged with briberies. That's why he went to Gaza, so he can stay a little bit longer, so he can flee his prosecution. That's very simple. Anybody can see that. Why we cannot see that? Why? Because you tune to CNN. Well, you're grown up, you can tune to BBC. You can tune to international television. For God's sake, hear the other side of the story. Hear that. Then you understand who is lying, who is not lying. I cannot go to that country. I'm a Palestinian American. As a Palestinian, since 1967, when I ran out of that country, I didn't enter it until now. Yep. I can't enter it as an American, which I don't feel good about it. Right. So I didn't go. I have my passport as an American since 1987. But I don't have the gut to go visit my nation there. So because I am not going as me.
As a Palestinian nationalist.
As a Palestinian, I'm not allowed.
You couldn't go back, but as an American, you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but if I'm a Jew, and I am not from there, I have no business to be there. I was never there. Not me, not my grandfather. They give me the money. They give me the house. They give me the land. Just come over. Mm-hmm. Why they do that? Because it's not their money. It's not their land. It's not their home. And you've seen that on TV. Mr. came from New York. He just went to a house and she asked him, well, Yaakov, you're still in my home. What did he answer her? The truth just came out. He thought if I don't steal it, somebody else is gonna come and steal it. Well, I think he's saying the truth, but that's a joke of the century. Right. So if we're speaking about peace, free Palestine. That's the bottom line.
Are you associated with any local organizations?
No.
No.
I'm not associated with any human being.
What would be the most important thing that you think people should do to educate themselves on this topic?
They can go on Google and they can punch any keyboard and you have millions of pieces.
Yep.
They can hear even the Israeli stories But go ahead, hear the other side stories.
Sure.
Hear the British story. Just educate yourself by having a variety of stories. That's
Right.
it. Thank you very much, and I'm sorry if I was too long.
No, not at all. Thank you. I appreciate your time so much.
Thank you. No justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace.
God bless America.
Has now faded. Now replaced by where I come from.
So at the peak of this, there was over 300 people, maybe pushing 400. Kind of hard to tell now because people are sitting down. We might be close to 400 at this moment. But we still have some guest speakers going, so I'm going to try to get around, get y'all a little shot of that.
عشان اشيك على اهلي عايشين ولا ماتوا؟ عايشين ولا ماتوا؟ يلا بالمايك. ليش الاطفال كلهم يحس بالموضوع؟ الطفل لما يكون انت عندك طفل تحس ايش معنى؟ يموت.
He's not speaking directly into the microphone, so it's really not picking him up very well.
ما كبرش ما صارش عنده اي شيء. ليش؟ يموت ليش؟ كل يوم انت خايف على امك، على ابوك، على اخواتك، حتى لو كان عندكم لسه في البيت خايف عليها. صح ولا لا؟ وين البشريه وين العقول؟ وين لما تفكر فيها؟ ليش لليوم فيش حدا قادر يتكلم؟ ليش فيش حراك عالمي مع القضيه الفلسطينيه وخاصه بين قوسين
Nazis are bad. You are correct, Griffin. Thank you for your input.
الضربه الاقوى ما هي النفس. WhatsApp and sending messages to my family back home to check if they're still alive or no. Why is that? Why? I'm scared if my cat will die next day. So because we don't have any guarantee that even the cat will die. What about a kid? Think of it this way. If you have a child who's 1 year old and this morning he was with you,
I think one of the speakers on the PA stopped working.
He's gone. He's gone. If you are a father, or mother, you will feel like how bad is that? I hope one day we have the right, and one day Palestine will be free, inshallah. Thank you much.
Guys, can we have a round of applause for Monday? This poem is called Islamophobia, and I believe that Islamophobia ties directly with the Palestinian issue because we're protecting Masjid al-Aqsa. Here we go. On June 17, 2013, Dylan Roof walked into a midweek Bible study. He sat and prayed with the church members before he pulled out his gun, killing most and allowing one to live. After the incident, he was found and arrested peacefully. When Dylan Roof killed 9 innocent black people, we did not question his gods. He wore the flags of apartheid Africa. We did not question his allegiance. He committed the crime alone. We did not question his people. When the KKK killed thousands of innocent black people, why behold this wing, they're Christian. Christian morality. We did not ask them to remove the ropes. We did not call all Christians bigots. Do you see it? Do you see how we did not condemn a whole class of people based on the actions of some? Do you see it? Do you see how all the names are different? All the people are different. All the faces are different. Therefore, we should not condemn all Muslims based on one group. If you want to persecute ISIS, go ahead. But to persecute ISIS is to persecute one who gave them power. And to persecute one who gave them power is to persecute the U.S. government. Do your research. Do your research. Islam is not synonymous with terror. It is literally submission. It is devotion. It is peace. And jihad does not mean holy war. It means struggle. It means survival. It means standing face to face with everything that's trying to put you down on the ground and choosing to be alive. Do your research. Stop staring at Muslims at the airport. Stop training humanity for hypocrisy. Stop supporting billionaire Republicans, aka Trump, for murdering innocents. And instead of burning down the walls around the post-Muslim, instead of burning down a mosque, instead of burning down Masjid al-Aqsa, burn down the walls around the post-muscles of your chest and realize you have one. And lastly, as the customary greeting goes, for Muslims that we say every day when you walk down Palestine, Syria, or Iraq, or any other country, when you see anybody you don't even know, what do you say? Salam alaikum. Peace be upon you. Salam alaikum. Peace be upon you. Wa alaikum assalam. And upon you be peace. Do you see it? Yeah. Do you see it? Yeah. When I walk down, I've seen this one woman walking down, and she said, I will hug that tree because it will be free, and I will be free, and by the end of the day, Palestine will be free. Thank you.
Okay, and we have one last person to kind of close it off. And some of you guys might actually remember her. 1 year ago, during the summer, when you were reckoning with the death of Breonna Taylor and the Black Lives Matter movement, on this very spot, we held a protest, a solidarity prayer protest, Muslims for Black Lives Matter. Okay, and one of our speakers was Representative Attica Scott, who was one of the active leaders and who herself and her daughter suffered from the police brutality. Attica Scott graciously came here. She's coming here now to speak to us and to stand in solidarity because she recognizes that solidarity in the United States must also translate globally. And then, so without ado, I'll have Attica Scott represent her son.
Peace and blessings. I know that I have absolutely no right to have the microphone today, but I could not let the time pass without you hearing from a black woman who is with you in community and love and solidarity. I could not let this moment pass without you hearing from an elected official who didn't decide not to show up because of possibly losing an election. If standing with my siblings who are Palestinian means that I don't win the election in 2022, that is just fine. I want to reiterate that you are surrounded by Black Lives Matter Louisville. I want to let you know that my family is here, my brother and my sister. I want to shout out John Doe, who is a black man who has been Educating Black people in Louisville about the movement to free Palestine for years. Thank you, John Doe. There are no Black people in Congress from Kentucky, so Black woman, Congresswoman Cori Bush from St. Louis speaks for me when she says, the fight for Black lives and the fight for Palestinian liberation are interconnected. We oppose our money going to fund militarized policing, occupation, and systems of violent oppression and trauma. We are anti-war, we are anti-occupation, and we are anti-apartheid, period. When your elected officials twiddle their thumbs and tell you there's nothing that they can do, don't believe them. There's action that can be taken in Congress. I'm tired of politicians saying when something happens to Black lives or Asian lives or Latinx people or indigenous people or Muslims or Palestinians that there's nothing that they can do. Well, they can take action. So I hope when you leave here today, you will contact your members of Congress and tell them to end the occupation, end endless wars, stop funding violence against your siblings, because that's the least that they can do. As a mother of Black children, I want you to know that I stand with you in community, in love, and in solidarity. Peace and blessings.
Thank you so much. Okay, guys, thank you so much to all of our speakers. We're going to do a quick wrap-up.
Free Palestine!
And then continue to chant, but please,
free
we're not chanting right now. Okay, so real quick, just to conclude everything, guys, so this is, again, the 73rd Nakba.
Again, we just want to thank you all for coming out and showing your solidarity with the Palestinian people. Today is the 73rd anniversary of the Nakba, the Palestinian catastrophe, so thank you for standing in solidarity with the 700 We have somebody who's going to talk. Round of applause real quick. Woo!
I'm sorry for me to come back, but you know, you cannot tell 73 years old story in, what, 10 minutes? That's very difficult. But came to my mind the best joke of the year or the century, which when they say, Hamas, they throw rockets between peoples and buildings. Well, guess what? Any high areas the Israelis take it. Give them more land, they would be out of there. Okay? That's what I just was going to say. Thank you.
Sorry everyone. I just want to make a short announcement. Part of the reason we are here today is we want to bring attention to the plight of the Palestinians and the history of the Palestinian problem. There is a talk show, a call-in talk show on an AM radio station. It is 12:40 AM and it's a call-in. There will be people calling in, asking questions, and Ira Gruber and myself will be answering these questions. It is very important that if you have the time to dial in and listen to that and dial in and have your, not only your questions, but your saying and comments. Keep in mind that the whole purpose behind this is for us to educate as many people as possible about the Palestinian problem and the Palestinian issue. The show is sponsored by the Kentucky Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. and it is a 2-hour talk show, call-in talk show, and it starts at 4 o'clock. And when you listen, they will give you the number that you need to call. You can call, listen, answer, comment, and I welcome your participation, and I encourage your participation if you can. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, now for real this time we're going to wrap up. So again, I guess the message you guys should take away from this is BDS, which stands for Boycott, Divestment, Sanctions. Make sure that you are boycotting brands that are supporting Israel and stand up against the genocide.